So here's our last example of this amortization schedule. I'm gonna want you guys to try it. We'll do it in little chunks though. So let's try A to start with, getting that monthly payment. We've done quite a few of these. So I'll write it up here just so you know if you got it right when you were working it out. But go ahead and hit pause and make sure that you can get that answer. And then when you're done, come back from pause and I'll go over it. All right, so let's just make sure we're all on the same page before we go on by plugging in all this and showing that answer. Remember, go ahead and write as a decimal. Don't write that plus in there. A calculator doesn't like that. I typed in my numerator. I typed in my denominator. I know you've heard me say this a whole bunch. If you're not getting this, super happy to help on everything except for the test. Can't help on the calculator then. Lastly, I type in the numerator divided by the denominator, and then I'm going to round that final answer to 2 decimal places. So that does round to 40. All right, now this one is a little different. I don't ask us for the first and second payment. Ask us for way down the line. Don't do this 181 times to get down there. I gave you the new balance. So use this as P in your formula. Just to remember, the interest is the top part, the numerator of our formula, and we're going to use that new balance of the principal. Don't use what we started with because we're not at the beginning. We've already made 180 payments. We're at the 181st, and I know this says the first 2 months, but a little typo there. It should just be the first for these 2 months that are listed down below here. All right, so go ahead and hit pause. See if you can fill this out, and then we're going to go over it. Really and truly give it a try to make sure you can do it on your own. All right, so hopefully you tried this. To get the interest payment, I'm going to plug in that balance that I gave you into the numerator of the formula. And that gives me an interest payment of $806.44. I'm going to subtract that from my principal payment. I'm trying to read my calculator screen. That's a 4. So that's my principal payment. So my new balance at the beginning of this month, I gave it to you, and now I've paid $549.96. So I have a new balance that is less. Now I'm going to use this new balance to find the new interest payment. So I'm going to have one that's slightly less. I owe less money, which means that my principal payment should come up. More money should go to the principal. The only thing that stays the same is the monthly payment. All the other numbers change. At the beginning of the month, I owed one amount, then I paid some down, and so I owe a new amount. So hopefully you got that. If not, maybe hit pause, go try it again, and see if you can get it, and feel free to stop by any of the tutoring times. Be happy to help, or any of the other professors that are there for tutoring will be happy to help. See, we've done this one quite a bit, so if you haven't given a shot on your own, hit pause. If you have, then you're probably good to go ahead and watch it. But if you haven't, hit pause. So each month, I pay that much for 30 years. That one comes out nice and even. I'm going to subtract the principal, what I started with. And that's way, way back here at the beginning, at the very, very beginning, how much the bank gave me to get my final answer. Like I said, hopefully you got these numbers. If you didn't and you're not sure, it is totally fine to get some tutoring help, office hours, small group, math outreach, any of that stuff.